Hi YouTubers, it's Micah Pilcher again. Today we're going to be talking about what was the opinion of the early church founders and the historical position of the church about the age of the earth question. I personally think that this is the least consequential of all the issues that I've been talking about in these videos I've been doing on the age of the earth question, for the simple reason of the fact that we do not base our beliefs on the opinions of men. And at one time or another, every heresy that has ever existed has been proposed even by people in the immediate aftermath of the life of Jesus. Entire epistles, for instance, were written to combat the Gnostic movement that was going on at that time, still going on, even if it takes on different names. We don't base our opinions on what man says. However, when we're talking about what the Bible does say, when we're talking about how obvious is interpretation, it is useful to look at key figures in church history, or the disciples themselves, the apostles, and see what they did think about it. There have been some in the old earth community who have tried to suggest that, one, that the early church around the time of Jesus and immediately thereafter did not have an opinion of the old earth argument, for the simple reason of the fact that they did not read Hebrew, that they by this time were speaking Greek or Aramaic most of the time. Well, let's assume for a second that that is true, because I'm not going to debate it. It seems to be the case. Well, the fact is, that's still arguing from the absence of evidence. What they're trying to get you to infer by this is the idea that if they had read Hebrew, then these people would have surely understood, without a shadow of a doubt, that the word Yom is so vague that it could mean whatever you desire it to mean. As with every other topic I've touched in this series, I'm going to have to link to you videos and articles by which you can do more research yourself, because to cover this topic in its greatest, most detailed extent would take a very long time. I should mention, by the way, that those who want to characterize the Young Earth movement as a new movement are being very deceptive or ignorant when they say that, because while Answers in Genesis or Institute for Creation Research or groups like that may be a resurgence, they are in fact a revivalist movement getting back to the classic position. The old earth view, even from the scientific, that is to say non-religious point of view, is very, very young. It's not been around for more than a few hundred years. One of the links I'm going to be posting is an excellent article written by a researcher and pastor named Douglas Hamp, and he took upon himself to do a lot of research on the beliefs of the early church in regards to the age of the earth, and he particularly called out a lot of Hugh Ross's false teachings on this subject. Ross states that there were, I think it was five, it's in the article, there were 5 early church fathers and Josephus, the Jewish historian, whom he said gave room that there could be different interpretations for the length of the day, the word Yom. Well, Hamp does double checking on his facts and says that that's not at all what they teach. And in the case of Josephus, he says something quite different. He tells the Romans in no uncertain terms, Moses taught us, he says, that God created the world in 6 literal days. One of the other things mentioned in that article that I'm going to draw attention to are the interesting issues of these Targumim, or that's the plural for Targum, which are these Aramaic translations of the Old Testament for Jews who, just before the time of Christ, were no longer speaking Hebrew for whatever reason. Their writings on the word day are in some ways even more specific than the Hebrew word Yom, that it was a literal day, and that it was a creation week, and that was the beginning of time. Another thing I'm going to be linking is a video series from Dr. Terry Mortensen of Answers in Genesis. Now, his video presentation is very long, and it talks about both the origin of the scientific theory of the old earth as well as the church's response to it. What you'll find is, so you may want to cut right to the chase if you're only wanting to hear the church part. One thing that's worth noting is that it is the Catholics first who adopted the old earth view. This is not surprising because the Catholics believe in the inerrancy of holy men. They don't believe in sola scriptura. They believe that the Pope can speak ex cathedra and that you can't contradict him. They believe in the power of their priests. They believe that even the priest has to speak through the word to them, that the priest has this ability to tell them what the Bible really means, that they can't just read it for themselves. This is how knowledge is stopped, and this is how an understanding of the Word of God is halted. And for more on that, definitely do some research on what Martin Luther thought about this Catholic tradition. He blames the Dark Ages on the fact that the common man did not have the Word in his own hand. This is why Luther translated a German copy of the Scriptures for the common people. Well, on that note, remember not to take anything that anybody says, including myself, for granted without doing proper research. Remember, Your information must never ever contradict the Word of God. The Word of God has supreme authority over the opinions and observations of man. And on that note, I pray that you have a great day, continue serving God, and have fun reading and researching. God bless. You have a good day.